The Ugly Duckling. In a serene countryside, nestled near a peaceful pond, there lived a mother duck who was eagerly awaiting the arrival of her ducklings. One by one, the eggs hatched, and each fluffy chick emerged, quacking and waddling alongside their mother. But there was one egg that remained unhatched, unlike the others, and the mother duck watched over it with a mix of anticipation and concern. Finally, after much patience, the last egg cracked open, revealing a duckling unlike any the mother duck had ever seen. It was larger, with gray feathers that were not sleek and fluffy like the others. Its appearance was a stark contrast to the rest of the brood, and the mother duck felt a twinge of sadness. She couldn't help but worry about how her odd-looking duckling would fit in with the others. As the days went by, the differences in appearance became more pronounced. The other ducklings were quick and agile, while the gray duckling stumbled and struggled. They played together, splashing in the water and exploring the surroundings, but the gray duckling always seemed to be on the outskirts, looking in with a hint of longing in its eyes. Despite the mother duck's best efforts to protect and care for her unique duckling, the other animals in the pond were quick to notice the differences as well. The frogs croaked, the fish darted away, and even the elegant swans that occasionally graced the pond with their presence looked down at the gray duckling with a mixture of amusement and disdain. The gray duckling's heart ached as it watched the other ducklings bond and frolic together. It yearned to be a part of the group, to experience the joy of acceptance and friendship. But with each passing day, the pain of rejection grew stronger, and it began to question its own worth. One day, as the gray duckling wandered to the far end of the pond, it came across a reflection in the water. It saw its own reflection, the awkward body, the mismatched feathers, and the sorrow in its eyes. A voice echoed in its heart. "Why am I so different? Why don't I belong?" In the midst of its inner turmoil, a gentle voice spoke from behind. Turning, the gray duckling saw a graceful swan with feathers as white as snow. The swan had observed the gray duckling's journey and recognized its struggle.
You are not an ugly duckling. You are a beautiful swan, just like me.
The gray duckling blinked in surprise, hardly daring to believe what it was hearing. The swan's words touched a deep part of its being, and for the first time, it saw its reflection in a new light. As the gray duckling gazed at its reflection, a transformation began to unfold. Its gray feathers molted away, revealing a coat as white as the swan's. Its body, once awkward and ungainly, stretched and grew more elegant. It stood tall, realizing that it had grown into a swan, a creature of grace, beauty, and dignity. The other animals in the pond gasped in astonishment as they beheld the stunning swan that had emerged from the seemingly ordinary gray duckling. The swan glided onto the water with confidence, its reflection now radiating a newfound self-assurance. And so, the swan who had once felt like an outcast, a misfit, had finally found its place in the world. It joined the graceful swans on the pond, forming connections based on acceptance and understanding. As it swam alongside its newfound friends, the memories of its struggles as the ugly duckling began to fade, replaced by a sense of belonging and self-love. And from that day forward, the pond was graced with the presence of a beautiful swan who had once been an ugly duckling, a reminder that true beauty lies not in appearances, but in the strength to embrace one's own uniqueness and the courage to rise above adversity.